build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty, joined today by Colin and John. Interesting to join today. We're recording early. I say interesting, it's not interesting at all, is it? Nobody gives a fuck.
It is interesting. Well, I was interested.
Are you?
Because I thought that, I noticed that, I clocked it and I thought, aye, that is, it's very interesting.
Very interesting today. Subtle wee change, so we're on a midday kickoff, lunchtime kickoff on a Sunday for us for a wee change. And we're going to talk about Motherwell and Hibs. Yes, or Hibs v Motherwell. John, how are you doing anyway? Let's do the formalities. How are things with you?
Good. I'm actually really quite bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I was up at about 5:45 this morning to get up, go to the gym, do some studying, and come in here. I was the reason for the quarter to one kickoff. But I say it's 1:45. It's fucking 1:05.
1:05, aye.
Got the blethering out of the way.
I know. We had to get somebody to kind of place a ball in front of the computers beforehand for a wee ceremony.
He's maybe responsible for the early kickoff, but I like it.
Aye, it's decent.
I'm happy with it. Maybe we need to move it if we can do this regular, if it's a regular one.
What is it they say? Like a change is as good as a something,
rest.
but I forget what the sum is.
Change as good as a rest. So. Yeah. We can kick about different kick-off times for us. That's no bother. We can look at it. John, the 5:45, is this a regular get-up time for you for doing stuff? Because that's a thing, isn't it? There's like a 5 o'clock club or something where folk get up at 5 in the morning and do stuff while everybody else is in their cot.
Just high performers, Jake Humphries and other pals.
Aye. It might be. What I'm trying to do is trying to utilise my time better. So 5:45 in the morning, nobody's up. So I'm thinking, right, if I can get up and I can get the dugout and then I can go to the gym and then maybe I come back and I have breakfast with the family rather than having breakfast with the family or cutting it short and saying, right, that's me, I'm away at the gym.
Aye, That makes sense. Right, Colin, you all right?
I'm all right, mate. I've been for a big walk this morning and that's good.
I've done hee-haw this morning, eh? Like, I feel like I'm letting the side down.
Yeah, low performer compared to a high performer. Jake Humphries will be chasing us to go on his podcast and he'll just do that, can't he? Stays in his bed all morning.
I do all the high performing Monday to Friday when I'm at my work, and then the weekend I'm like...
That's not what your boss says.
Right, let's get on to the football. First of all, I suppose if we sort of start at the start of the day before we go into the team lineup and everything like that. Sosie coming out to put the ball in. We planned good reception for him. How did you think of that?
It was good. I thought my folk might have got in earlier, like the dash to get in early, and it had filled up a bit by the time he came out, but it was like still the last minute dash. I'm having that last drink of that pint before I get in, and that wee bit disappointing for him, but it was good. It was a flash visit though, eh? When the IBs, that was him.
Aye,
it was a wee bit. I found that a wee bit anticlimactic, if I'm being honest, because, like you say, it was on the pitch, and I don't know. Obviously, like it was just a couple of minutes before kickoff, but I think he said maybe half a dozen words, and then he was away again. Like, thanks, Frank. Like, we've all been waiting for this for 20 years now.
It just adds to the mystique, doesn't it? And then he's back again in November. I think tickets go on sale tomorrow for the charity match. I imagine that will sell well. And I have to say credit to the Hanlon Stevenson Foundation guys for sort of pulling out all the stops to get Frank back. It's been brilliant to see. Aye, because I can't imagine it would have been easy after all this time.
Other legends to be announced as well, apparently. I wonder who they'll be.
You've been asked to play it?
Saying nothing. I just we're not meant to say anything, but all I'll say is if anybody can provide boots, size 10, size 10 or size 11.
You'll be goals.
Aye, that's me. I can't play football.
They're always going to say goals.
Shite goals. We have a big fear there. We used to play sevens or sometimes fives when I worked at HSBC. This is when I did my back and then stopped playing. It was I did the lumbar muscles in my back and ligaments in my knee at the same time through nothing other than running. It wasn't like a bad challenge or anything. Just by running.
Just body decided to give up on you.
I just went nope. So I decided to retire at that point. But prior to the injury, we used to play. There's a guy called Alex Thompson who I think he used to coach at Livy, and he played at a decent level as a goalkeeper. And so he was much older than us. And so he would go in goals, but he was quite handy at field as well. One of these players, like Colin, you've mentioned it before, Kevin, you know somebody who's played at a good level and they just stroll through games. He was like that. And I would go on goals, and not bad in goals. Right, I'd have good games and bad games. But he gave me some feedback one time. He says, "You'd save me shots if you did this try to save them with turning your back."
I make yourself big, no small.
Aye, oh, fuck you, I never get hit by the ball. What are you talking about?
Fucking hell.
So, that's maybe best not to go goals for that game either. Right, starting lineup. So we never changed it, John. Were you surprised at that, or was that what you were expecting?
I think, barring any sort of injuries or suspensions, you'd want to go with the team that had won the previous 3 games. So, nah, no surprise at all.
What about you, Colin?
No, I wasn't surprised. No, I was quite happy with it. We've spoken about it before, changing a winning team. They even mentioned that on the TV or the radio, I can't remember which, that like consistency of lineup, that helps.
Right, wee question on it, and it's maybe one that will come on as part of the talking points. I think the general consensus, what is it called, accepted wisdom, is that Ewan hasn't been playing the best for the last few games. Now, we've got a squad where there's competition for places. Does the manager lose credibility if he keeps playing somebody who's not performing and not giving somebody else a chance? If you say, like, you've got to play well to stay in the team. But clearly we've got somebody who's not playing that well, but is still staying in the team.
Do you think Ewan's playing poorly?
I don't think he's playing poorly.
I don't think he's playing as well as others in the team. That's how I would put it.
But anybody that's come on for him has not been better either. So who are we replacing him for?
That's a fair point. Because you look at it, I suppose who've you got? So Tavares could come on, McCurdy, Melkerson would be the options
Mickey when he's fit.
to replace him.
Somebody actually put a talking point in. You're right. Somebody come on. Maybe the answer's Dimitri Mitchell if he's ever fit.
It's funny.
I forgot about Mitchell.
So yesterday, there was some folk that I was sat beside, and I wasn't chatting to them as much as I was listening to their shite chat. And Mitchell came up, and I went, "Fuck! I completely forgot about him." And that's now 3 times. I think there was like a couple of other folk had mentioned. I'm like, how is Mitchell at the forefront of everyone else's minds? I've just completely forgot about him.
I seen the talking point this morning when I got back to get them ready for this, and I was like, "Oh, fuck him, maybe he is."
Well, Lee Johnson mentioned him in his pre-match stuff. Sure, about being a player that's back for injury and being like having a new signing, along with McGuinness and Melkerson back fit as well. So, I mean, this is so there are options there. They're maybe just not quite ready. But I agree with your point, Colin, that the folk who have come in when Yuan's gone off haven't set the fire. I know the heather on fire.
There's a bit of hype about it, and we're doing the thing. We're picking on somebody a wee bit. He is clearly lacking confidence. I mean, I listened to the Spaces thing this morning, and it was like left-hand side's no his position. But if you remember when he played up front, he kept drifting out to the left-hand side, which is kind of where he's naturally moved to. But so I think maybe he is more on the left side, but he's creating problems, and now he's thinking about it too much. No hitting a shot and thinking, "Oh, maybe we should cut it back. Maybe we should." And rather than whereas early on, mind he hit the shot against Hearts, just hit it. And now he's not doing that because he's overthinking it, and then it's causing everybody to go like that. And then you've got the McCurdy hype train, and that's coming along the road. But then when he comes on the pitch, he doesn't even have as much impact as Yuan. So like you've not got somebody chapping on the door going, "I should be starting the game," because you've not come on and been better or done anything differently, in my opinion.
Fair point, John. You agree with that? Disagree with that?
I'm just glad Colin said in my opinion there because I wasn't sure what he was getting at otherwise. I do tend to agree. Like I think I always try and look at the positives in these situations. So the reason I asked if you thought that Yuan was playing poorly was because of what you were saying before about Lee Johnson and credibility and what have you. I think what Yuan does, like obviously he's got a lot of pace and he really stretches the defence as much as the end product isn't quite there yet, like Colin said about overthinking it. My biggest criticism yesterday was the inability to shoot. And I think and also take into account, like I think he's right-footed more than he is left-footed, but he seems like he can play on both sides. And I think the chances that he had yesterday were predominantly on the left-hand side, and he was looking at coming on his right. And I wonder if the chance had been on the other side, if he would have been quicker to get the shot away on his right rather than trying to bring it over. I think with any player who finds themselves on their weaker foot, I would far rather that they had a fresh air swipe at it or sclaffed it wide or whatever, rather than losing, or rather than not having a shot, not having an effort, because fuck knows where the ball's going to go. Like, maybe he sclaffs it, maybe it bounces off someone, maybe the keeper has to parry it, whatever. Like, the ball's still in play, the ball's still moving, rather than the attack just ending because you've given the opportunity to the defender to nip in and clear it.
Yeah.
And I think that's my big complaint. And I think with the options that we have elsewhere, so if you start Mitchell, with the exception of maybe a couple of games at the very start of his Hibs career when he scored against Livingston, he's not really shown a hell of a lot. Admittedly, he's also been injured as well. McCurdy,
Totally
I don't think...
What's he played? Like less than 5 games in total,
Aye.
Mitchell, probably, the whole time.
I think McCurdy, I don't think is a natural replacement for Yuan in that position. I don't think he's got the same pace as Yuan. And I think he tends to want to get into the box a bit more. I think it's a bit weird, actually, that McCurdy's playing out on the left.
Do you know what, though? See, yesterday, I was going to mention this. See, when, because it was something somebody said on Spaces, actually, like for about Tuesday night's game. I know I'm jumping ahead, or I'm jumping ahead. When McCurdy came on, he didn't really go on the left. Josh Campbell went out to the left, and it was more like a 4-4-2 to go like board information stuff.
Right.
I'm sure they went and McGuinness was on by that time and all that as well, and it was
Mhm.
almost like Muir and McGuinness in the middle, Campbell on the left, and McCurdy up front, Boyle on the right, McCurdy up front with the big guy. And I think that might be what we're doing Tuesday night. Maybe not with McGuinness. It might be Kenneh, because I mean the boy's playing excellent now, isn't he? So, and he probably only came off yesterday to go more attacking against 10 men. But that could be the option for it. Maybe he doesn't see him out on the left because when he's came on, he's not really impacted it on the left. If he's got to play goes up front.
I suppose having those bodies in reserve as well, like if in the first 70 minutes, for argument's sake, the lineup like yesterday, for example, wasn't working, do you really want to go for a like-for-like replacement out on the left in Yuan's case? You probably do want to change it. I think by having players like Mitchell, McCurdy, or whoever it happens to be, it does give you that option to change it. I think as well, it reduces the burden on Martin Boyle, which was a problem that we found ourselves in before. Like if the team wasn't playing, if Boyle wasn't playing, nothing was being produced. Whereas now we've got options in a number of different areas of the pitch, which I think, if I cast my mind back a wee bit, was what Lee Johnson had said. He wanted danger in a number of different areas of the pitch.
Yeah.
That was exactly what he said. Almost word for word, John.
Thanks.
Right.
Try not to be misquoted.
So we'll come back to you, I think, because I think like Ewan comes up in the talking points.
There is.
And if we go back to the original question, we just didn't start lineup. But I think we spoke about it last week, Colin, didn't we? That did they change a winning team? We were quite kind of comfortable with that. And I think in principle, I'm fine with that. And I'm sure I've said on previous episodes that I'm a big advocate of consistency of team selection, because I think that's how you get the team performing the way you want them to perform.
Units working together and getting to know each other and all that stuff, don't you?
Well, you're starting to see the benefit now. Where the midfield looked really comfortable yesterday. The two centre halves, especially Porto and Hanlon, know each other's game inside out now, but they're both better a few games into the season than Joe and Hanlon first came back at the team at Livy. And we were talking about, do we need to be replacing Hanlon, etc. But he's been, as he can be, he's been terrific the last few weeks, and Porto has definitely raised his game as a result. Maybe not a direct result, but I think it's a factor. So starting lineup we're happy with. In terms of how the game went, Colin, what were your thoughts on it?
I think definitely deserved to win. I think I heard a few comments about there wasn't much between the teams, and then obviously the comments about the red cards and all that again. But it's like, stop fucking fouling us then.
Aye.
Is that what you wanted? Stop fouling us, and then we'll fucking score normally.
Are you talking about Cragen's comments after the game?
Aye. And
I listened to that as well.
I thought, what a fucking fan he is, man. How is he, like, that's another one, like, he wasn't even fucking good at football. It's not even like you're going, well, no, at least he was a good fucking player.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Fuck's sake. But my wife came with me yesterday, rather than my brother-in-law, who was living it up in hospitality. But I said to her 8 minutes in, this is much better than last season, eh? Like watching it, because it was exciting. We were getting
Aye.
forward because she had the season ticket last year, didn't renew this year, like I've mentioned, and she's buying me her tickets. Fucking, we've already she's coming to the next 2 or 3 games already. Like they're already bought, but it's more exciting. It's just better to watch. It's just like we're getting folk forward, and like I don't know if Mikey Stewart's still telling us we've not got an identity in that, but it's just like get fucking forward and create havoc, is it not?
Hmm.
And we are, and that's why folk are panicking and fucking fouling us and getting sent off.
Aye. John, what were you? What was your overview? We'll go into some of the incidents in the game, but I'll just get your general thoughts on the match before we do that.
I'm going to claim a wee bit one-upmanship on Colin here because he said it was the 8th minute, and I'd put a message into our group chat saying 7 minutes in, it's an exciting game, one for the neutrals, and it was actually, I think over the course of the 90 minutes yesterday, it was a good game of football to watch, and obviously it was better because Hibs won or whatever.
See, just before you go on, see after 4 minutes, I said to Josh, "This game's amazing, dead exciting."
Fuck. Well, I'll take second place. That's very good. I know it was good. It was a good game. Hibs played well. It was quite nice to just be quite relaxed about it. And actually, I was pretty relaxed about the game, even up until the sending off. Even though we hadn't scored, we weren't ahead at that point. There was just some really good stuff that was happening on the pitch. Like, first of all, Hibs were playing good football, and I think we've talked in the past about being braver in possession. I think that's one of your phrases of choice, Matty. And sorry, is it brave in possession or brave going forward? Like, we were definitely brave going forward. Like, we were trying to play football and we were trying to forward passes to cover that point that Colin made about Mikey Stewart. Like, we definitely have an identity, and it is to get forward and to put the opposition under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Other wee things, like, so we mentioned Hanlon and Porteous before. Like, Porteous obviously got man of the match yesterday, but I thought Hanlon had an outstanding game. Like, nothing spectacular. It was just like, oh, there's a wee problem, Hanlon and tidying up. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There was a wee thing as well for David Marshall. I don't know if anyone else spotted it, and I didn't even realise that this was within the rules, because I think every other by kick that I've ever seen taken has been from the 6-yard line, and Marshall yesterday, in an effort to get Hibs going forward quickly, took it from the byline.
No, I didn't notice that.
That was brilliant.
You take it from anywhere in the 6-yard box, doesn't it?
I think it's because, like, normally see, like, the keeper will just put it on the line, and that's where he'll hit it from. I know Marshall, as soon as he got it in, it was down on the line, boof, off he went. And Porteous' finish as well. Like, I didn't appreciate it until I saw it. And in fact, I didn't even appreciate it in the replay until I saw the Hibs pitch side stuff, which really captured just how much Porteous attacked the ball in the position that it was in. Phenomenal.
The TV gave him a lot of credit for it, because they were saying it was Kenny Miller and Stevie Thompson, the striker, saying how there was no pace on the ball, and he's got a standing jump, so he's had to generate all the pace, and obviously he's put in the corner because he didn't even move, so he's put pace and bravery as well as direction all into it. It was a cracking header. But that's what I said. Like, that's what you want to say. That's what I want my centre halves to be then, like for corners and all that. And I spoke about it recently. He scored 2 and 2, but we spoke about it just before that, saying he used to score loads of goals at youth level then.
Goodwin's been in the paper today saying that he should be getting a 6 or 7 match ban for the headbutt on the defender.
What did you think of the comments yesterday about the head injury, Colin? And I can't remember who it was. Was it Tom English was saying that Porteous? I don't think he's mentioned Porteous specifically, but my take on it was almost suggesting that Porteous. It was almost like we've got nothing to have a crack at Porteous about, so we should talk about the fact that he should have been off the pitch with a head knock.
See, I think it's so. Tom English is a rugby fan, like I am, and rugby treat it a lot more seriously than football. So I don't think it's a Hibs thing. It's funny though, Ian T, I've not got in the talking points, but I've seen Ian T that tweets in us quite a lot, did tag us in something today, saying to the BBC, Tom English, there was 2 players that headbutted. Why are you just talking about Porteous being the concussion? And that's true. But football don't care about concussion. They don't give a fuck. Like, they just don't. So they've probably ran on and they've went, you all right? I'm fine. Right, carry on. Right, and that's it. That's how football deal with concussion. And then they'll test them later on and go, fuck, he's out for 2 weeks. Like Melkerson the other week. You find out the week after when he's not on the bench that he's not fit.
I
Football don't
think
care about it. They don't treat it seriously. And Tom English is coming to a point of watching rugby going where it's like somebody run past you and fucking bangs into you, and somebody's gone, get him off, get him tested, and you're off the pitch for 10 minutes. And very rarely does a player come back on in rugby after they've been tested, because generally they've been spotted that he's fucking done. Like, get him off.
I think in defence of the Hibs medical staff, there was more than a quick "Are you all right? How many fingers am I holding up?" check that they did, and they were with him for a couple of minutes. It wasn't the 10 minutes that you get at rugby, but I didn't think it was a cursory.
He should go off though,
Just-
and I was saying this yesterday before that head knock, because that's a bad one. They both should have been off the pitch, checked on. Just play on with 10 against 10. The other thing about it is that people take the piss out of it. When they were wasting time. We done it as well once near the end. When they were trying to waste time, the ball goes in the box, defender falls down, got to stop the game, all that stuff. And it's not right, like that, because there's nothing happened. There's nothing worthy of you going down there. So if you're going down, you're off the pitch because we're going to test you. So your team, for you to stop that attack and fall down with a hidden read, your team are doing 10 men for the next 10 minutes while we check you're all right. You're not going to, you've got to drop all the folk off. But until football changed the rules, the rules are that the boy can come on and go, here, there's some smelling salts or whatever it is they've done. Because if you're doing it on the pitch, it wasn't even 2 minutes. I bet it wasn't even 2 minutes. So I don't think football in general treats it seriously enough. I don't think it's an anti-Hibs thing. I don't think any.
No.
And it is more serious than it is, because look at all the boys that have had fucking dementia and all that. See rugby, there's loads of MND cases coming out the woodwork now and all that, and dementias and people taking them to court and all that, because they didn't treat it seriously enough. Football's still not treating it seriously enough. It'll take somebody causing a multi-million pound case down in England probably, or Spain, to actually folk go fuck, because they just don't. It's due to care. I don't think they care.
But I think so.
The player's not going to say fuck.
No,
you can't just, they're never going to do it.
I think away from the immediate impact, right? So Portchester is assessed there, but I think there's evidence to say Hibs have taken it seriously, because over the last 2 seasons we had, or 2 or 3 seasons,
Hanlon was out for a couple of weeks.
Bogdan was out for ages with a concussion. Bogdan got concussion, and it was weeks. Hanlon and Melkerson have all had prolonged periods out with concussion as well. So I think
Hanlon bandaged up and played on.
Aye.
And then he got banged again, and then after that game they went, he's concussed.
Aye.
So he was playing through that.
Yeah, that's the point I was making. So that the immediate response maybe isn't great, but actually once they've identified the concussion and had it assessed, then and I think that's the difference. Rugby didn't take the chance to say he might be concussed or he might know. They just go, it might be, take him off, because that risk is there, or her off, whatever. I thought when he went in for the header and had the clash and he was doing the way he was doing, I'd say to Josh, I was like, that's his game done. Again, he'll be going off the now.
I thought he was out cold with the player's reaction.
Aye.
But I don't know if he was, because I did see him moving about a bit.
Did you see the Motherwell videos coming on?
Yeah.
Or I didn't remember it.
They were on.
Three or four of them
well.
on at the same time.
Right. Maybe just assumed they were all Hibs.
Nah.
Their boy was up, setting up a bit quicker, but that's Disney. After a head knock like that, they should have both been, I think, get them at the side of the pitch, get them to take a deep breath and all that.
Right. Couple of key incidents. The Motherwell manager called it Joe Newell's tackle on Spittle. Watched it back. He's got any issues with Newell's tackle? I think he got away with one.
I'm not really sure what else he was meant to do. Like the two of them, it's just a collision, eh? It just so happens the guy's lower down and he's got his knee into the kidneys or ribs. I think it was ribs, they said.
I think it was his ribs, aye.
Was that a tackle first half?
Yeah.
He's in the centre of the pitch. The boy went down for a while.
I don't remember I don't remember the challenge exactly, but I do remember thinking at the time that I couldn't work out how it was that the Motherwell player had managed to hurt his kidneys or his back, as for the challenge that had gone in. So I don't remember thinking Christ Newell was fortunate to come away with that, because I don't remember the referee stopping it, and I think it's set up a Hibs attack.
Didn't get stopped.
No, it wasn't a foul. Like I thought it was right in front of us. say right in front, just to the right a wee bit, because it's pretty much halfway.
Mm.
Newell's foot's no high, his studs on the show, and he's actually side-footed the ball, but he's just physical.
It was a
And-
follow through, aye.
Aye,
Yeah.
but he's nowhere else he can go. I mean, the two players are coming together. It was a firm but fair tackle. I didn't think.
Well, the tackle was fine. It was the collision
Aye,
after it that's
yeah.
caused it. There wasn't even a tackle by then, you know.
Aye, but the Motherwell manager sort of said it needs. They should be looking at it again, and I've looked at it again. I'm going,
To
nothing
be
wrong
fair
with
to
that. Like,
sports scene, and you'll hear me say that very often, they did show it. They showed Hamill saying that, but they never even fucking mentioned it in
Aye.
the after-match bit, because I think they thought,
Can might have never. And I noticed this earlier. Sports scene's on for about an hour, eh? Maybe just under an hour. 19 minutes each. Rangers and Celtic got.
Wow.
Aye.
The other team got, or other than their opponents, but they didn't talk about their opponents after the game. Ken, they really just talk about Celtic and Rangers. So they'd obviously have to trim out. If they're giving everybody, we would have got a wee bit of analysis on Newell's tackle, I think. Alright, so I thought the Motherwell manager was wrong with that one. Then there was 2 penalty incidents. So he referred to a stonewaller that he felt Motherwell should have had, where the players tried to he's taken a cross, caught it. I think he's either fallen through onto Hanlon's foot or Hanlon's kicked his foot. You know, depending on how you look at it. Either of you think that was penalty?
I don't think I've ever seen a penalty given from that. But it probably out the TV, we're saying it's definitely a penalty. Like if the referee sees it, the referee's looking straight at it, then you get.
I'll not be in a hurry to go and look at it on any replay, and it was up the other end of the pitch for me, so I couldn't honestly say.
I didn't think it at the time. You know what I think went against the boy? The boy screamed like a wee bairn.
He lay for ages, by the way. Aye.
He screamed out, and he thought it's like the referee went, "You're at it." That's kind of what
overplayed
what
it.
I took from it.
Yeah.
If he'd just gone down, so you've seen them given. Like I've seen penalties like that given before, where the defenders caught the attackers like following through after they kicked the ball.
Aye, that kind. I suppose I was thinking more like a foot-on-foot thing, because that's all it was. Like they didn't go for the ball, and whereas it was like I'm thinking Boyle gained a penalty away against maybe Aberdeen.
Aberdeen it was
or last season, and there was a couple of others like that, because Boyle gave one away and then started winning them like that, going, well, that's fucking rules. I'll go. Dundee United got one like that last night.
Yeah.
They just pushed in front of the guy and went, "You better run into me." Yeah. Like that was it was. So I've seen they ones, but I've never like it was just two guys going for a kick it, flick a ball away, because that's what they were trying to flick it.
Aye.
And one kicked the other on the foot.
I've seen them given, seen them no given. It was one of those ones I didn't think it was a penalty at the time, but again, I had to push out for the other end of the pitch. I was like, "Fuck, that's pathetic, mate."
That's when I looked up. I hadn't even clocked it until I heard them, and then seen them lay for ages, because the play carried on.
Aye, the ref wasn't interested at all. And then, so we maybe got away with one there. It's one of these borderline ones, and then probably similar situation. Kukarevic in the second half goes through, rides a tackle, which was probably a foul, stays on his feet, and then gets sort of knocked over in the second challenge. Again, the referee just sort of waved that away. But did you have a decent view of that one?
Mm-hmm.
I did. I was looking right down on it, and I thought it was a penalty at the time, but didn't get me wrong, like I don't know exactly what the rules are, but in other areas of the pitch outside the box, if Kukarevic, whatever his proper pronunciation of his surname is, I think if he's fouled outside the box, goes on, doesn't quite get the advantage, it gets pulled back for a foul. And I thought the first challenge of them was a foul. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was a penalty.
Colin?
I agree. The first one I thought, I was thinking, is this so the rule, John, you see, you're not sure what the rule is. The rule is you need to fall down or you then get a penalty. And he never. So that's why they didn't get it. But I think if he'd fell down, he would have got it. The second one, he wasn't there. The second one's not a penalty. He's off balance because of the first tackle.
Yeah.
And then he's bumped into the guy. It's not a penalty, that one. It's the first one that is. But the referee's looking at going, well, you just fucking fell down there. Aye, you did. Because he was fucking fouled. And you never gave none. All he's played advantage.
Aye.
Or whatever it is.
Whatever advantage that was.
I think it could have been a penalty. It might have been soft. I don't know how heavy the first tackle was, but it did appear to be a foul, and it did impede him because he was off balance after that.
I don't see after. I didn't make to cover old ground, but after, like, I don't think the word "it would have been soft" or the term "it would have been soft" is relevant anymore after the Rangers penalty at Easter Road, because that was the softest.
was going to say, well, he never gave the referee a decision to make. That's
Well,
what.
there was
that's
mere
what we're saying.
contact, wasn't there? There was mere contact
Aye.
on that one than.
He never gave the referee a decision to make. Like, how? When did that become a fucking thing? Is it not the referee's job to make decisions
Aye.
without the players telling them to make a decision? For fuck's sake.
That's. Aye. What game was I watching? Oh, it might have been the sports scene when they were talking about it, and they said when you look at the penalty that was given at Ibrox, the Motherwell was the definite penalty. I was going, you can't use penalties given at Ibrox as your benchmark for what's a fucking penalty, by the way. So I thought maybe Motherwell got away with one there. Could have been a penalty, but again, you've seen referees get them or not get them. The goal, or in fact, the red card would be the other one before we kind of speak about the goal. No, we've talked about the goal a wee bit. What was Porteous doing up there? It was meant to be like Porteous up at their right winger, I think, or left winger is the last man against your centre half. Like it's like schoolboy football, isn't it? How things like that happen. But
he does that a lot. He's done that a few times.
I think the boys got any complaints about the red card?
No.
Motherwell manager's not got any. He said the same, didn't he?
Aye.
He didn't even. It's a different red card. No doubt about it.
Right. Fine. And then the goal, Boyle took it down the right, clipped it across, it took a bit of deflection, spun up in there, and Porteous jumped in and bravely headed it home. Any thoughts on the goal other than what we've said already?
Nah, nothing to add to that, mate.
John, you look like you're going to say something.
Nah, I was going to try and introduce some wonderful imaginative thought, and I was saying it to Mike in the car yesterday, like I really rate Liam Kelly, the Motherwell goalkeeper. Fuck, I hope I've got his name right now. But it needs to be a really good finish to beat him, or it needs to be like an absolute clusterfuck to beat him.
Aye.
And it was a really good finish.
I think he's that good. I think he had like a good game once, and then he gets kind of sometimes that happens. A player will get talked
up. Was he
at
Rangers?
Oh, maybe. Because it happened to Xander Clark. Xander Clark got talked up because of a good game against Rangers in the Scottish Cup quarter final.
Right. The next thing again, he'll be playing in the fucking Lowland League with Hibs B.
Aye, like.
And
you go, fuck it. He's one of them. Same with Big Van Veen. One of these has a couple of good games. Everyone thinks he's like he's European footballer of the year calling it.
I was just based on the boys at the like Fowler and that off of the terrace. That was what they were like after the. I'm blaming Fowler. I don't know if it was him. One of them on the terrace, not Tony. Fucking raving about him after Hibs Motherwell last season because he scored a couple of headers.
Aye.
So who's this boy like? I think he's pish every time I see him.
Aye. I never saw anything. It's funny, I was mentioning that to one of the boys I was sat next to yesterday, that folk were raving about Van Veen when we saw him at the Hibs Motherwell game, the opening game last season, and you're kind of like, he's just a bit of a lump, puts himself about a bit. And after these plaudits midweek, did he get a hat trick?
He did.
He hopped him yesterday. No, I know, pish. They subbed him in. Louis Moult, fuck, I forgot he was there till he came on. I think he was good about 5 years ago, eh? Like, what happened to him? Just took the money and fucking that's him. Done.
That's what you do with your career if you're a footballer, right? Just move out you're a hot prospect.
Van
Veen never got a sniff out of Hanlon and Porteous yesterday. Not at all. Liam Kelly, every time I hear his name, and this will show my age, I think if you will get this as well. There used to be adverts for a car garage, and it was Ian Skelly. Nobody gives you more. And so I can't hear Liam Kelly's name without thinking nobody gives you more. And the wee tune that went with, which I'll not sing. So
I can't remember the tune.
I'll not sing it. It might be on YouTube or something. Right, conscious we're kind of going on and we're tipping into feature-length episode if we didn't get onto the talking points, Colin. If you want to bring them up and then we'll rattle through them.
I'll need to have a wee think about how to do this because we have fucking rabbited on here. So, right, there's 4 topics. Performance and team. There is the left-hand side and goals in general. Then we've got the ref, red cards, professional fouls, and then just the usual bucket of miscellaneous. So I'll start with performance and team. There's millions of folks, so I'll just give a quick name check. JD Hibs, Ross Grieve, John A, Dave Graham, Andrew McBee, Ross Grieve, Stuart Gordon, Norman Black, Freddie, Brunswick Bill, Andrew Brown, Jeff Ashton, HFC 1875. So never really rated Newell, but Kenneh makes him twice the player. There is various others, right, talking about how good we were. So, not many comments in the media about us defensively, but that's 3 clean sheets in 4 games.
Yeah.
And the second best goals against in the league. There is comments about Kenneh again, playing like a 25-year-old centre defensive midfield. Johnson said the team he needed was 12 weeks away. We are way ahead of schedule. We have the second best defensive record in the league. Just somebody else saying that. Only 7 goals conceded, 3 clean sheets in the last 4. Marshall, Porto, et al. Claim plaudits, but Kenneh's improvement and Michael holding the ball up, getting us up the pitch is also a big factor. That's left-hand side stuff. So I'm doing this a wee bit different, so I'm having to scroll through them. I'm under pressure.
We need to countdown clock playing in the background, eh?
I know, there's so many though. Thanks to everybody for sending. There's fucking millions of them, but it's hard to try and cover them all. Hibs have got a composure about them. Yesterday we were under a fair bit of pressure versus a good Motherwell team. I've had that for a few weeks. That shows the players trust what the manager's trying to do. Imagine what it'll be like when McGuinness is fully fit. Marshall's their best signing, calmness personified. Yuan badly needs a goal. Good player in there, but too many touches or overcomplicates. Chabraya? Fucking Barry never got the memo we got on that. He just makes it up every week. Chabraya did well with a rapid lad. Kenneh is beginning to look like a player. No surprise given his lack of senior football. Do we have the best centre-back pairing in the country? And someone added, and keeper. No, and Kenneh played really well yesterday. If he keeps up these types of performances, how long until a big English team coming for him? That's plenty, Alan K. There's fucking more. There's loads, but we've run out of time, so thanks for all them. There's loads of them.
So I'll pick up the defensive bit. We spoke about this on Spaces last night in the post-match show, which you can still get on our Twitter. We'll maybe download it to the podcast players if you want to catch up on it as well. If you look at, so we've got Hanlon and Porches who have both hit form and they know each other's games inside out. And then you've got the benefit of them being protected either side of them. So behind them, they've got Marshall, who's been fantastic. Even though he didn't have much to do yesterday, he had like that sort of one save for the range that he tipped around the post, dealt with it, and
That was a good save. Yeah.
The other thing with Marshall, we've talked about it as well. You mentioned it, John, about the kind of the quick goal kick, but Marshall's distribution and getting the game started again. So Lee Johnson talked about playing at a tempo, and Marshall absolutely drives that because as soon as he's got the ball, he's looking to release it, and there's no. Can you get keepers that do that and they run like three steps forward and then I'm not going to throw it. And then,
they put the hand up as if to say, "Oh no, I've got this under
control.
Where's
the movement?"
And then they wait for everybody to fuck off up the pitch and just put it out for a throw in. Marshall doesn't do that. He's like, he kens where his pass is and he fucking finds the man, 9 times out of 10 and gets us on the attack again before the other team have a chance to set. But from a defensive aspect, you feel that the players don't really trust him, and he's out mopping stuff up quick. So if there's like a ball over the top, Marshall's no slow off his line to come out and get it. And then on the other side of the defence, you've got Kenneh, who folk are calling it there, who I think the last couple of games has been absolutely fantastic. And I'm not saying that because I called him out at the start of the season as going to be our player of the year.
By the way, I said Marshall.
Did you?
And this bit still for top scorer as well. I've got him in my big book. I'll need to look it up.
I think you locked in Christian Deutsch, John. Pretty sure that was you.
That sounds like something I'd say. Champion of the underdog.
Let me see if I can find that.
Who did you go for? Yuan, maybe? By the way, I still think Yuan will come good. I do. So defensively, it's interesting that we're not getting the recognition for it. And actually, even Cragen on Sportssound yesterday was loath to get us any credit. It was like he wanted to kind of talk about how good Motherwell were despite losing, and then it was like he said Hibs are finally sort of showing some of the stuff that Lee Johnson had talked about earlier on.
I've got the information here once you've finished.
Aye.
It's fucking funny.
But I don't think folk have recognised the sort of defensive work they've done. But actually, if you look at a lot of our stats, there's a few sites that are out there now that you can go and look at things like shots, XG, all this kind of stuff. Hibs are sitting up in contention with Old Firm in pretty much every positive measure that you want to have. It shows that we're sitting third in the league. That's no by accident. We're probably exactly where we deserve to be. The defence played a big part in that. John, your thoughts on Kenneh just before Colin goes and tells us who we actually said would be Player of the Year?
I think he's quietly gotten better since we started. Since the season started. I think there was a couple of games where it was maybe he was a wee bit slack. So thinking back to like Livingston, for example, where we conceded that shitey goal. But things in the Hibs defence certainly seem to have tightened up since then. I think maybe the fact that there's a consistent lineup gives that a little bit of confidence amongst the players and just that understanding amongst them. I think one of the things about Kenneh's game as well, and I think back to some of Lee Johnson's comments about needing to improve when he's on the ball. So it wasn't just like the water carrier in midfield, kind of breaking up play. He was also looking to start his own attacks as well.
Yeah.
So that was really impressive to see from him. So long may it continue.
Agreed.
Next category, Colin.
Well, do you want to tell me your Player of the Year was first?
Oh, aye. Sorry, I forgot. That's how good my attention span is.
So I did go David Marshall. So well done me. You went for Melkerson, and John went for Aidan McGeady. Remember him?
Fuck!
What
was I thinking?
Young player of the year. You did go for Nohan Kenneh.
All right, I can't. I did it.
Who was my young player of the year?
Rocky Bashiri.
Oh,
I went for Ewan Henderson.
Just goes to show you, aye.
Top scorer though. John, you went for Melkerson. You went for Ewan.
Aye.
And I went for Nisbet. So I'm still going to stick with Nisbet. 5 weeks he's due back, we got told, exclusive. So he's back in 5 weeks' time. He is ample time to be our top scorer.
Because he's only going to be. Because who's top now? Campbell. Campbell on 3 or 4.
Campbell or Boyle.
He's got the same number of goals as Ewan.
Again, so he's. Ewan's going to hit his. Somebody mentioned.
He's got the same as a Moylan.
Ewan on our Twitter space last night. He's only, I think, 23, and he doesn't speak a word of English. So you give him time to settle.
Oh, aye.
Give him time to settle.
I hope the first thing that he learns in English is "get it right up you." It comes on Longbangers. That's it.
Aye. No, we've been championing him. We've doing his top scorer and all the rest of it. So
I still rate the boy.
Yeah,
right.
Say thanks to us.
Next section was about the left-hand side and goals, which we kind of started on earlier. So it was Jeff Ashton that said earlier about maybe Dimitri Mitchell's the man for that role. He's got pace, scores goals, good defensively, seems to be a Johnson type player. He's also got stuff for Parma too. Don't you think Parma won? Like just locked the Celtic's account or something?
I think so. This is the sequel's decent though. I've got a lot of time.
Ed Norval and Jamie and JD Hibs also got stuff in here. So let me find what the fucking said and I'll tell you. Ewan's movement is great and gets into great positions, but his final product most of the time is lacking. He needs to up his game. We are toothless. Yesterday we had several chances where people got into good positions and just wouldn't shoot. Too busy wanting to walk the ball in. 12 goals in 9 games isn't great. We're creating a lot of chances. Third most in the league. Need someone to step up and start scoring consistently. I still like Ewan, but he needs benched for a game or two. And there is another one. How do we get our strikers scoring goals? It's becoming very concerning that our strikers don't score. And finally, two actually more. I've been going on about this, taking pelters for it. Why do people cotton on to stuff so late? The left is seriously lacking. It compounds your lack of a central threat from Kuka. Fucking new name for him as well, although I think he was very good yesterday, just a bit toothless in attack. And last one, left wing is definitely up for grabs. At some point the forwards are going to need to start scoring goals, Boyle aside. Nisbet, we've got, I think Jimmy Nisbet's maybe sign in, hopefully solves that once fit and up to speed.
By the way, I'm a big fan of Kuka as a nickname for him.
It's easier for everybody. Yeah.
Aye, and it's sort of like Kaka, who's one of the
Had a lot of
greatest
Mikos and
footballers.
Michaels
So
and all of that, But it's not
aye.
really hard, eh? Cookery is hard.
Right,
It was like you were trying to pronounce two surnames at once.
the forward strikers, we spoke about it on Spaces last night as well, and it'd be interesting to see what Lee Johnson's strikers, what the numbers were when he was at Sunderland or Bristol before. I got stuck on this last night. Bristol City.
Mm-hmm.
Whether their strikers got a high numbers of goals or whether there was a big spread of goals. Because I think what we've got with our front three, and this was my observation yesterday, I've not tested it to see if it's right, but this is just a theory I have. Our front three take defenders into places they didn't really want to go. So they get pulled about the place and they make good movements. When they're, John, you're thinking places they didn't want to go, like Cowgate, or is it the subway on Lothian Road, or Why Not, or somewhere like this, right? Or Bathgate. So they take them in areas of pitch that they didn't want to go. And that means you've got folk like Josh Campbell or Joe Newell or whoever else, Ryan Porteous, can then fill those spaces which are your scoring positions and take advantage. So as a consequence of our play, we get fewer goals from the strikers and more goals from other areas.
Yep.
But I don't know whether that maybe we need somebody like the Hibs to some of the stats and what's the other account, the 91
91-25 analysis.
Yeah, well done, John. My memory's rubbish for that. To have a look and see whether that sort of theory stands up. But that's what I think about it. But actually, if our strikers start contributing to the goals as well, we're fucking laughing because we're going to batter teams.
I think it does stand up. When you think back to Jai Ross's first season and the 50 goals that the front three scored between them, you could have a look at how many goals came for the rest of the squad. And I'm going to put my hat on it and say that there wasn't many. And then afterwards, when we were struggling, 50 goals amongst the front three when they weren't scoring, no one else was scoring. It was really, really difficult to win games. So you can look at, for example, the St Johnstone games, the cup finals, etc. What you had last season was basically like the strikers weren't scoring. Neither was anyone else because all your strikers were injured. And now you do have that spread that you described. There is less reliance on Martin Boyle, there's less reliance on Ewan, there's less reliance on Nisbet or whoever the strikers happen to be, because who have we had so far contribute to the goals? You've had Porteous with a couple, you've had Josh Campbell with 3.
Yep.
3 league goals, maybe
season.
more. Henderson scored, Boyle's chipped in with a couple, so it is definitely far more spread. And it's not necessarily a good thing in itself. But it does mean, like you say, like defenders are pulled into positions they didn't want to go, like my mum's house, for example. And it does allow spaces, but you do need those players running into those spaces to capitalise on those things. I think that's where players like, where Campbell's demonstrated it so far this season, but you've also got that backup option when McGuinness is up to full fitness, when he starts challenging areas when he's playing.
I hope McGuinness had a cracking opportunity for a goal yesterday, but kind of tried to take it like a touch back inside. He almost played through just on the edge of the 18-yarder. If you just let it run across him and then hit it he's right,
absolutely. I remember.
The
ball was great. He put him in so much space. It just opened up for him, and you think, fucking smash it.
But I think that's an instinctive thing, maybe for him, like missing for a wee while. Probably probably one of the sort of Matt Sharpness things, like confidence in Matt Sharpness, because he's only had a couple of minutes in the last couple of games to play, so that'll come.
Yeah,
it's great. There's no pressure to get him in the team. Nobody's really, there's a couple of comments about him, like obviously his size and his bulk, and should he have been sent off was one of the comments as well, based on the tackle. I thought it was just a hard tackle. The hard tackle
on the touchline.
Just after a good one,
I didn't even think that was a foul. See, when they went to take the free kick, I was like, "Could have fixed that a free kick." I was raging about that. I didn't think he should have been sent off.
It was just a question that came in, but but nobody's saying, "Oh, get him in." You know what I mean? It's no like the folk are now, like the wanting McCurdy in for Ewan. There's no pressure on, so we can just like give him half an hour here, half an hour there. or 10 minutes or whatever we choose to do. Like we can break them back in. It's good.
Okay, next category, Colin.
So that's just kind of all lumbered up together. So the ref, red cards, professional fouls, right? So because we obviously had quite a lot of red cards this season. I'll read some names out first. Dave, Ladij, Gav Dick, Tonto Hibs, John Beattie, Gilly McGrew thinks you made that up. My dad has been going on about having an app on his phone that tells the ref to send someone off since the Rangers game. It's worked every game since. Is it real? As Hibs can be a bit shot shy in promising attacks, why do so many opposition players take a red card for the team? Not many comments in the media. That's a different one. I'll keep that for the next bit. Much like Rangers have their penalty to Rangers picture, which they post once a week, does Hibs need a red card against Hibs picture? Perhaps Fatis Brickus could do us one on his whiteboard. Will we continue good form consistently against 11 men? I'm all for lapping it up, but there's some good points made yesterday regarding the red cards. That game was 0-0 without the red card. The professional foul culture, at what point do defenders start to think it's not worth the risk of pulling back a player and getting sent off? Chance of converting a clear goal scoring opportunity might be 50% at best. I think that is all for that. No, there's one there. Tonto Hibs. It was Kyle McGuinness. Should he have seen a red card, or was it just over exuberance? Was the question that we were asked about the red card.
It's an interesting one, right? So is it an issue that we're no playing 11 men so long? I don't see. Like I think what Lee Johnson said about it, about how it's a consequence of our good play, and you look at even the red card yesterday. We forced that because we had 3 men bursting forward against their defence, created like a wee bit of an overload or a panic stations kind of thing, and albeit Motherwell didn't deal with the situation very well, it was our tenacity and persistence that put Porteous through, and then the boy pulled him down. That's no Hibs' fault that he's done that. It's his own fault, but it's a consequence of the way that we play. And when you've got fast players that will take players on, or like was it Kilmarnock with the Porteous ball over the top for Boyle? And he got in behind and the guy fouled him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can keep spouting it, right? And we've probably been guilty of it with other teams. Hearts getting loads of penalties and that in the past. When they had went through their spells of getting it. Without knowing you've got fucking another penalty. And we do it with Rangers as well, because I'm sure fucking a lot of the time they probably are penalties. They do get their dodgy ones that you focus on, but the majority of the time they will be. Out of all these red cards, what we're talking, one that shouldn't have been one, like the Lundstrom one. That's it.
I think Lundstrom was the straight red that was later taken away. Was it Scales at Aberdeen was a second booking. The straight red at St Johnstone.
Fucking punched somebody in the face.
Morelos.
You know what I mean? And the one yesterday, everybody agrees it was a red card. So why are we making a deal about it? They're off red cards, apart from one of them.
I think just to go over what Matty was saying again, like it was funny when you said that like he brought Porteous down. So when you think about like the penalty against Aberdeen, like obviously it was 100 bodies in the box. Well, not 100 bodies because there's only 22 on the pitch before Matty picks me up on it. But there was a massive body in the box. Massive bodies in the box. Porteous is taken down. Player gets his second yellow. Off he goes. Yesterday, was it the left winger you said brought Porteous down? So I think the fact that Hibs have committed bodies forward there, and the tenacity that you mentioned, and a centre half is attacking the ball. Like Motherwell have just found themselves unable to cope with Hibs attacking play, and they brought Porteous down. So like the whole thing about, like I totally get it, like the graphic, and I was having a wee laugh to myself that Hibs are going to become known as that team about having players sent off. But one of the defences, the number of penalties that have been given against Rangers, and well, fucking since as long as I can remember, it's because of the amount of bodies that they commit forward, the amount of chances that they create. Hibs are creating a lot of chances. Hibs are committing a lot of bodies forward. So you're going to find yourself in positions where, it's a goal scoring opportunity, and the opposition bring down the player to try and stop it.
We're all quite far out of goals, because it's not like we're getting a penalty and just a yellow card. They're fouling us outside the box before we get the actual goal scoring, the proper goal scoring opportunity. You know what I mean? Getting a shot away or whatever. Like we're outside the box and they're getting fouled.
And it's
taking us early.
good point the person made about defenders learning not to do it, because chances are we'll no score
Aye.
for the chance anyway.
But
Just
that's
let,
a centre half, like lumbering through, if you like. I know
Aye.
he's a bit more of a lumberer, but you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a centre half. It's not like you're letting Boyle go 1-on-1 with the keeper. You're letting a centre half go 1-on-1 with the
See,
keeper.
well, that
Out
was.
wide to the left on his bad foot. It's like he's not got to
let him go.
Do you think if you were the Motherwell defender and if you had the Motherwell player and had the presence of mind, would you have let Porteous carry on and have a crack at goal, thinking that the odds were in your favour that Porteous wouldn't score?
I think you foul him and hope that somebody's covering and you're not getting the red card.
I guess it's one of these ones. I think in hindsight you would say sure let him go, but in the moment you think, see if I didn't bring him down, I'm going to get pelters for the rest of the team. Like, what the fuck did you just take the hit?
Yeah.
I'd rather see players let them go though, and have the chance here. Like I'm not a fan of the cynical fouling and stuff like that. So
I think it's because I remember reading something, I forget where and who wrote it, but it's that kind of challenge where you bring someone down, you prevent that clear goal scoring opportunity. It kind of says that you didn't trust your goalkeeper. Like the goalkeeper is there to try and prevent a shot, prevent the ball going in the back of the net. So let them try and make the save. And you're also still got a full complement of players afterwards to try and get back in the game.
Goal would be the first one to roast you for letting them take the shot. As well.
No, they'd be straight out getting bothered shouting to draw attention away from it.
Look, I've made a save. Look, I've made a save. Look, I'm shouting at the defender now.
Look, I'm raging. I've had to do my job.
Aye. But anyway, I mean, certainly. I think the referees are just.
Aye. But they're doing their job. That's right. These are the 1 out of 5 or 6 we've had this season. Well, I think Aberdeen still debate the second yellow. I think St Johnstone debated their one up there. Remember the first game of the season?
Aye.
But they didn't debate it in a way that it wasn't a red card. They debated it on, well, if he got one, how did they not get one?
Correct.
Like Byrne's arguing.
Yeah.
So I think there's one that's a debate, which is the scales one that I was watching Aberdeen TV last night, and they were still talking about it, because they think the world's against them because they keep getting penalties away and they're not very good away from home.
Right.
On that, so on miscellaneous, so I've got AH6, HFC, Brunswick Bill, Ray, Douglas, Mac, Fatis Prickus, William McCohen, Mikey, Dave Graham, Charlie Mulgrew thinks he made that up, and Martin Wilson. Some of the regulars in there in the nonsense section, which I'm glad to do. We're nearly an hour, I think. So,
aye.
Are the Northern Mutton molesters on a par now with the Govan Tax Dodgers as the most disliked team in Scotland? Not many comments in the media about us defensively. That's 3 clean sheets in 4 games and the second best goals. It's a similar point to what's been made. Saki and Gordon is a big shout there for Brunswick Bill. Harry McCurdy. A couple of things on this. So is Harry McCurdy's real name Harold? Because this would change everything. And someone asking about the bandage on the leg. What is the bandage on the leg? Which is interesting because I don't know what it's for.
So it's a garter. It's like a good luck garter. Like when you get married. So, for the bride.
It was really bright white yesterday. It was like brilliant white sort of colour. Does Ryan Porteous just skin people in his spare time too? A couple of about the football. Does Lee Johnston look like a werewolf mid-transformation in that photo?
It's it's a decent shout, by the way.
Aye. It's the beard there.
The nights are getting darker, the moon's coming out a wee bit earlier, so
almost Halloween, watch it.
Aye. Here's a good question actually. This is football related. What are the chances of signing Kuka on a permanent? He looks class. This is more on the football as well. Why didn't we put our foot on the ball more when we were a man up? The game played out the same as it was 11v11. Stuff about huge improvement. Interesting point about set pieces. Could do with somebody on set pieces. I think definitely could do with somebody on free kicks. Yeah. And JD Hibs just saying, how's relieving Hanlon of the captaincy, taking a weight off his shoulders, allowing him to concentrate on playing. He's been exceptional recently. Also goes in about the left wing stuff. Do we find ourselves morally second? Is an interesting question for Ray. And Hibs 3, Rangers 2. Just another comment in there from one of your nonsense people with not too much nonsense in their brain.
What was the one I was going to pick out? What was before the set pieces, Colin?
Kuka signing permanent.
I don't think we'll get him permanent. I'd like us to, based on what we're seeing so far. But he's just on loan, isn't he? And I don't think we got the loan to buy deal, which Hibs
Often
tend to go
do.
for if it's a possibility. So
Mm.
you never know, but my gut feeling would be no. But I think also we're going to be quite bloated in the forward areas anyway, so it might not be a bad thing unless unless he goes to have a stellar season. I'm not sure I've seen
Yeah.
enough from him to say that's where it would be. What else was before the set pieces? There was Kuka and
Wasn't it Harold McCurdy? No.
no,
Was it signing Kuka, free kicks or set pieces, and I can't remember, mate.
There was one before that.
He's
there
not
was
listening.
no. I was
No.
listening. I wanted to,
You
but
just you rattled through them, and I got distracted.
try to listen to the ones that came after it.
Wasn't he morally second? Was it?
No,
I will tell you in a second. Then
right, hold on.
you'll just chat between yourselves.
Do you think why do you think that we wouldn't be able to keep Kuka beyond the end of the season?
Because he's good. Because he's good, and I think similar to when we've loaned players out. So like we've got say Hauga out on loan or Del Ferry out on loan just now to Edinburgh City, right, amongst others, just picking two names. But they're in our long-term plans. It's part of our strategy to loan them out at a good level and then bring them back in and either loan them out again at the next level up or play them in the first team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are that step for whoever's like got Kuka at the moment. That they'll say, get him a season in the Scottish top flight and then bring him into the first team. So we might be able to do it if we've got like a decent, if we have a really good season. And you know, like with Canberra when he was there and he liked it and he wanted to stay. And although we'd agreed a deal for Canberra beforehand, he had that sort of thing that, or McLaren did it as well, where he was on loan and he wanted to come back because he enjoyed it so much. You could potentially do that, but I don't know. I just don't see it at the minute. That's just my gut feeling on it.
Was it about putting the foot on the ball?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
So Lee Johnson actually mentioned that in his post-match interview. He said he would like to see us manage the game more. And if you think how we played against Rangers when they went out to 10 men, or Kilmarnock when they went out to 10 men, Kilmarnock had to be flooded towards the end of the game where they, I suppose, did what Motherwell did and started chucking everything at it. And it would have been nice if we'd learned from that and just been a wee bit more composed on the ball and stretched the game a wee bit or kept a hold of the ball better than we did.
I think we found ourselves unnecessarily under pressure.
Aye. So I agree with that point totally. So it would have been nice for us just to have made Motherwell run a bit more and chase the ball with the extra man. Right. Any more points, Colin?
Just one that's came in while we've been recording, actually.
Right.
Liam H. Should Josh Campbell have been sent off for the tackle denying Martin Boyle a goal scoring opportunity?
No. But it would be an interesting precedent to set if a referee did that. Sent off a player.
You get sent off for punching your own player.
Aye. To denying your own goal scoring opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we're just going to go and record extra time in a minute. Extra time this week, we are going to be talking a wee bit about the Under-19s Champions League win over Molde on Wednesday night. On penalty, it's a really good evening. But one of the highlights of that evening, and which we'll probably spend a bit more time talking about, was Block 7 occupying behind the goals in the famous 5 lower. I think they were sort of trialling standing as well. So I think they generally stand up in the east as it is, but that kind of, it was like a free for all stand, all bunched together, created a great atmosphere. So we're going to talk a wee bit about Block 7, where they should be in the stadium, whether it made a difference, and just kind of what they bring to the party. As well as a wee bit about Under-19. So stay tuned for that. If you want to subscribe, you can just go to our Twitter and click on the link there. If you're not on Twitter, it's longbangers.hubwave.net. You can sign up for £3 a month. And just before we go, a wee word on the game on Friday, the 21st of October. So we're at home to St Johnstone, and the guys at the changing rooms who run the sort of men's mental health initiative have got a drop in that night, and they're hoping, I think, have Keith Wright drop in to say hello, and they're going to have some people from Sam H who run it to come and talk about what the changing room do. So if you're interested, it's all about men's mental health. If you're interested in that, it'll be in the Famous Five. I think I might pop along to that as well. Last one was really good. So just I come in and say hello. And it's great work that these guys are doing. Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next time.
County line I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.